Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mabimpressions, and today I want to talk about Salt and Sacrifice. Now, right off the bat, I have to say this is a pretty big game to sit down and talk about every single mechanic of the game, the good and the bad. So I'm going to try to answer just a couple of questions here. First of all, what is the game? A quick general overview of the story, the gameplay, and then I'll give you some more in-depth stuff of the things I find noteworthy you should know about, and then my final rating at the end. So let's get started. Salt and Sacrifice is the sequel to Salt and Sanctuary. This game comes out May 10th, 2022. I want to thank the devs and publishers, Devoured Studios and Ska Studios, for the review copy. This game, it's pretty much tagged as a 2D Souls-like. The first game was very much like that, where you would be going to lots of interconnected dungeons, fighting gigantic monsters, dying a lot, and picking up your salt and your runes and stuff like that. In this game, it's kind of the same. However, there's a huge amount of different mechanics that I really want to get into. The game is going to be sold for $20 US, and I have to say that from the amount of time that I've played already, I'm almost like 10 hours plus in. It is worth the freaking money. I am really surprised that they went with this price. They could have easily gone for $25, $30, and people would have been good with the price. So it's single player, but you have the option for cooperative multiplayer in forms of, you know, Dark Souls PvE, where you join them or they join you when you go defeat mages. Or you can do PvP, you can invade, and there are some sort of factions in the game where that reward you for helping people who have got invaded or invading yourself, and you can get certain materials where you can get unique items. So they got that. It's going to be in a lot of different languages, which is good, and it's going to be RP, the rating, RP. Alright, so, Salt and Sacrifice. The story begins where you choose a character of many different types of backgrounds and origins. I chose a mage. And you can also choose your crime, because in this story, no matter what you did, I chose forgery. You are a character who has been somewhat punished, but instead of getting the death penalty, you are now a Marked Inquisitor. The whole world of Salt and Sacrifice is that mages have been corrupted, and they are going throughout the land and just wreaking havoc throughout the whole thing. So it's up to you and other sort of inquisitors to go on the hunts and destroy these freaking mages. It plays very similar to the first game in terms of like gameplay loop somewhat, where you have a light attack, you have a heavy attack, you have a block, you have a dodge with iframes, you got health, you got mana and stuff like that. So I did play the first game for a good amount of hours, but I am just going to be talking about this specific one. So if you have any questions on what is different or what is new, let me know down below and I'll try to answer. But I'm just going to be talking about Salt and Sacrifice for this one. So I really like what the game did in this particular game, where you have a hub, and in the hub you're going to be slowly learning the layout and unlocking a lot of new NPCs. You have your basic guide NPCs that just tell you, you know, what to do, kind of where to go. It doesn't straight out say all the time. You have to talk to them, go through some of the dialogue, and, you know, click on rumors, for example, and then they tell you kind of where to go. There's a lot of areas that are, you know, yet to be unlocked. You have to go into different dungeons and find the characters. So it's cool. They have this sort of portal that you're going to be using throughout the whole playthrough, and you're going to be using different sorts of runes with stones on it to make different combinations to create the portals, and those are the gigantic dungeons. Now, it's a sort of a semi-spoiler, but there's going to be 5 gigantic hubs. You know, besides the hub you're in, 5 gigantic areas. And like, you know, for example, a really dark, dank forest, and then a desert, an elder corpse, and so on. When you go into these things, you are tasked with hunting down a mage. Now, these mages are huge, gigantic sprites, and they have a theme. You know, you got fire mages, you got crypto mages, thunder, terra mages, but to get to them, you have to kind of hunt them down, and this is where I believe the developers of this game took an inspiration from Monster Hunter, where once you kill a mage, you can grab all their materials that they dropped from the minions, or, you know, when you do the killing blow for themselves, you're going to get a lot of unique materials. You're going to go back to the main hub, and then you can start crafting lots of unique things. If you kill For example, a water mage, you can start making some cool specific armor, you know, class 2 heavy armor, or maybe you can make a mage staff that is, you know, good with water and all that stuff. So you kill enemies in a gigantic sort of dungeon. But even though I did say it was inspired by Monster Hunter, they kind of went in their own direction to make it even more Souls-like and Metroidvania. And I do have to agree, there's going to be a lot of areas where you're going to be like, I can't enter this door yet, but you can talk to the door, you can check it, and it pretty much says, hey, to go here you have to kill a couple of more mages, and mages in this game are the big bosses. So the game loop is kind of like this. You're going to go back to the hub, do all of your upgrading. You can upgrade your tools, upgrade your armors, leveling up. I'll talk about that in a bit. But you go back and you talk to the NPCs and they're like, oh, try to go here. So you use the rune stones to make a portal to one of the hubs. And then you're going to go fight that guy and then come on back. And once you have enough kills, kind of think of it like Super Mario RPG, not Super Mario RPG, Super Mario 64. Super Mario 64, where you need a certain amount of stars before you can open gates. So you're going to be doing that. So even though there's only 5 hubs, they are interconnected with smaller dungeons in between. So your first beginner forest dungeon, you know, you walk to the right, there are easy enemies you're going to be killing. You can now walk to the left and open up this door, and a bunch of new different types of enemies will pop up and new treasures. So yeah, that's the like Metroidvania portion. And the Monster Hunter is you're always, you know, fighting mages. So I am a little split on whether or not I really like the mage hunting in here. I love when it's the main quest mages that you're actually chasing after, because you get this sort of atmospheric blur on the screen, a lot of like dark mist that you can follow, and depending on the type of mage, sometimes it's like lightning or a little bit of a red mist for fire. You're gonna be chasing it down, and then it tells you kind of in the direction. Of course you have to, you know, go up some steps and all that stuff, but like, oh, directly up left, that's where the boss is. So you're gonna go there and kill him. He runs away, just like Monster Hunter. You chase him down again and you fight him until they go into the resting zone, and then you have a traditional sort of Dark Souls fight where you're trapped in there, you see their health bar, and you go all crazy. So that's gonna happen. However, there's a lot of extra optional mages, and these are mages that you have previously fought before. So every single time they sort of put you on the mission to fight the, you know, the big mages. Oh, a fire mage. Once you kill a fire mage, you're going to be seeing him a lot regularly. Now, it's cool because when you're on a hunt for a new mage, you can sometimes find the old mage and they kind of quarrel and fight each other. Not only each other, but they summon minions and they fight the other sort of natural habitat, you know, enemies that are there. So there's a lot of that going on. However, I think they kind of run a little too much. For example, it takes you around 10 to 20 minutes to chase down one of these optional mages, and it doesn't give you that really awesome sort of visual aesthetic of where they're going. It does after you make them run away, and they run away after like taking away 5 or 10% of their health. And then you gotta chase them back and forth, some up and down. You gotta do it a lot. And you don't have to do it, but you get a lot of souls, you get a lot of salt, and pretty much you get the materials that you need. Because if you're trying to hunt down a specific mage to grab all of their armor set, it's going to be a long time. However, you know, it's a long-term play, but my god, I wish it didn't take so many sort of instances to kill them, because they run away, you fight them again, they run away, you fight them, and then you can finally do the killing blow. It wouldn't be that bad if you can track them just as easy as you can the main bosses, but my god, it's a little weird that way. There's a couple of other quality of life stuff I would really like in this game. They're missing some sort of comparing equipment system, and I don't know why. But when you talk to an NPC, for example, the one in the main area, you spend your salt, he's like, hey, you want some of my equipment? You can hover over the equipment to buy, but you can see all the stats, like, oh, this gives you a certain amount of fire defense or poise. It doesn't compare to what you have. So guess what you have to do? You have to go outside of the NPC dialogue. You have to open up your inventory. You have to look at it. You have to memorize what it is, go back into the other one, and then, you know, bring it up and then try to memorize it again and compare. You can always take a picture and do it that way, but the game should really easily compare. I want to talk about the leveling system. I think this is really cool. I forgot exactly how it was in the other one, but in this one, all you have to do is kill a bunch of monsters and you get souls. There's 2 currencies, souls and salt. Salt is pretty much money you're going to be spending on NPCs to buy equipment and buy consumables and stuff. The souls all you have to do is get a lot, and you start from level 1, and the threshold is, I don't know, 400 souls. You level up to level 2, and then 600 souls for the next one, and so on, just like a Souls game. Every time you level up, you get an increase of health, and that's it. You level up and you get health, but it also gives you skill points, and every couple of levels, it also gives you a refund point. So at that statue at the hub, once you level up, you get the HP and all that, you're going to be opening up a skill tree. Now, depending on your starting class, and I chose the mage, you're going to have a lot of relative relatable skills around it. So, oh, I already have a point in staves. I already have a point in runic learning, which is like learning all the spells. And next to me, it's like adjacent to me on the whole glyph, because it's a gigantic glyph. It's shared by every single class. The class just shows you your starting one. So you can learn anything you want. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get there. Kind of think Final Fantasy X if you want. So yeah, so adjacent to the mage is more things that are like it. Like, oh, here's a thief class. So you can get some of the early sort of clothes. Like, oh, light clothes 1, light clothes 2, which is kind of what a mage might wear. So as you level up, you're going to be going through lots of different nodes. And a lot of the nodes, and this is how you increase your character stats. You got like HP, vitality increases HP. You have endurance to increase your carry weights, strength for melee damage, and resolve for your mana pool. So it's interesting because it doesn't look that big at the start, but once you start unlocking nodes, you find out that each node, well, almost each node, most nodes have multiple levels that you can put stuff on. So hey, I'm done leveling up my path, but I need more stats in endurance so I can wear more heavier armor. Just go back to one of your previous ones and keep leveling up that node. You can continuously level it up to around 5 times, I think. So that's the leveling up system. I did talk about how you fight. I talk about the mages. I'm gonna talk about the graphics really quick. It's good. I do want to make a note that the developer said that it's 100% new assets. The first game is cool, right? Salt and Sanctuary is cool, but man, it looked a little indie. It looked a little like, Flash Game You Do Ground. This one, it has that sort of same aesthetic. However, it's much more polished. The characters are much more like 2D, 3D-esque, and a lot of the enemies look very grotesque and crazy, especially the mages. The mages are awesome. Really, really cool. And it's a mage because they have a big ass glyph behind them. So, the environments are, really fun to look at. And yeah, it's a good looking game. Let me see if there's anything else I want to bring up. But basically, that was it. I talked about a little bit of the story, the regions, the mages, the hunts. Oh, I do have to see. Yeah. Another thing is there are procedurally generated hunts later. Once you get a little bit further in the game, you're going to be unlocking randomized hunts. So daily you can go on specific hunts and kind of farm for that. And you can also do PvP and bring your friends in. So that's a little bit later. A lot of different types of classes. There's like spear classes, and you can combine all these. You have bows and arrows, gigantic maces, and it's really awesome. Alchemy, you can get a bunch of stuff and throw fire bombs and things like that. But I think that's pretty much it with the game. Okay. The first game, I believe, from what I remember playing it, I don't know, 5+ years ago, I think that game was a little bit harder than this one, at least at the start. I remember dying quite a bit in that first one. In this one, though, it's not that it's easier, but you just have more control over your build and your character, so you know exactly your playstyle going in. Whereas the first one, it was like, it's clunky, I'm just getting hit, I'm getting like chain stun. Here, you get chain stun only because you're just not dodging and getting hit. You can dodge by just having less of a carry weight on you, so you have a better roll recovery. Maybe you want to be tanky, block a lot, or if you have enough poise, you can just go through anything. So this game might be tough for some players, but just go in thinking this is a Metroidvania with very similar Souls-like mechanics. If you die, you gotta go back to your stuff and pick up your souls before it disappears. There's a ton of stuff I did not get into, like the ammo mechanic, where every class has opportunity to do range attacks, and the artifact system, where you can equip lots of different randomized loots, level them up, and just increase like percentages and all that stuff. So I really like this game. I've been playing for about a dozen hours or so, and I'm going to keep going. All the footage you're seeing today was taken straight from my Twitch live stream. I would love to see you guys there, but if you want to watch on YouTube, I'm uploading it all on the Let's Play channel. So if you guys enjoyed, leave a like. It helps a lot. If you haven't already, subscribe for daily videos. Let me know what you guys think of Salt and Sacrifice down below. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, $20 for this amount of quality and the amount of time you're going to be playing it. If you played the first one, this is an easy pickup. No excuse, except it's on the Epic Games Store. I don't know if I did say that. It is Epic Games Store exclusive on PC. So it's not going to be on Steam, at least for maybe a year plus. But you can also get it on PS4 and PS5 when it launches on the 10th. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.